Hi, I'm Juliet. Today's supposed to be the happiest day of my life, graduation day, but sometimes life has other plans. I adjusted the tassel on my cap as Mom fussed with my gown, her eyes glistening with pride. The backyard was decorated with blue and gold streamers and a congratulations graduate banner hung across the patio. Family and friends milled around, paper plates loaded with barbecue. My baby heading to college in the fall. Mom, Diane to everyone else, smoothed my collar. I still can't believe it. Mom, you've had 18 years to prepare, I said, laughing. Let the girl breathe, Diane, my stepdad Roger interrupted, beer in hand, his third already. She's not shipping off to war. Mom's smile tightened. I'm just proud, Roger. Yeah, well, pride doesn't pay for Stanford tuition, does it? He took another swig. Still don't understand why community college wasn't good enough. My best friend Maya appeared at my side, sensing tension. Mrs. Henderson, the deviled eggs are amazing. Can I steal Juliet for pictures? Of course, sweetie. Mom's relief was palpable. Maya pulled me toward the makeshift photo area. Your stepdad's starting early today, huh? When isn't he? I sighed. Thanks for the rescue. That's what best friends are for. Maya's eyes darted behind me. Though I'm worried about your mom. He's been watching her like a hawk all afternoon. I glanced back to see Roger following Mom to the kitchen. She says things are better since he started that anger management class. Maya's eyebrow arched skeptically. If you say so. An hour later, Aunt Sarah cornered me by the cake table, her voice low. Juliet, honey, I need to talk to you about your mom. What about her? I caught Roger checking her phone again. She tried to laugh it off, but Aunt Sarah hesitated. I'm worried. The way he speaks to her when he thinks no one's listening. What does he say? My stomach tightened. It's not just what he says, it's how he says it. All that anger management therapy, and he still treats her like she's... A crash from the kitchen interrupted us, then shouting. You think I don't see you flirting with him? Roger's voice boomed. Your daughter's teacher? Really, Diane? I wasn't flirting. We were discussing Juliet's scholarship. Don't lie to my face. I raced to the kitchen, Aunt Sarah behind me. Mom stood against the counter, Roger looming over her, his face twisted with anger. Roger, please, Mom whispered. It's Juliet's special day. Special day? All I see is another bill I can't pay because you couldn't keep your legs. The slap echoed through the kitchen. Mom's hand flew to her cheek, shock freezing her features. Did you just... I couldn't finish the sentence. The kitchen fell silent as guests crowded the doorway. Roger stepped back, suddenly aware of his audience. Diane, I didn't mean... I pulled out my phone with shaking hands. What are you doing? Roger demanded. Calling 911, I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. You hit my mother in front of 20 witnesses at my graduation party. Juliet, maybe we should... Mom began, but I was already speaking to the dispatcher. Hello? I need to report domestic violence. My stepdad just slapped my mother. The police arrived within minutes. Officer Jenkins, a tall woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor, sat across from me at the dining table. Walk me through what happened, she said, notepad ready. We were celebrating my graduation. Roger, my stepdad, he was drinking. He accused Mom of flirting with my English teacher, Mr. Collins, who's here with his wife. I pointed through the window where guests huddled in shocked clusters. Then he slapped her, hard. Did anyone else witness this? Pretty much everyone at the party heard it. Aunt Sarah was right behind me when we ran into the kitchen. Officer Jenkins nodded. We're speaking with your mother now, and your stepfather is outside with my partner. Maya slipped into the seat beside me, squeezing my hand. You okay? I don't know, I admitted. I just... reacted. You did the right thing, Officer Jenkins assured me. Has this happened before? I hesitated. I've never seen him hit her before today, but... But? Maya prompted. There have been incidents. Broken plates during arguments. Mom wearing long sleeves in summer. She always has explanations, but... Don't sugarcoat it, Juliet, Aunt Sarah interrupted, entering with 2 cups of tea. Your mother's been making excuses for that man for years. Why hasn't anyone reported this? Officer Jenkins asked. Aunt Sarah sighed. Diane always refuses. Says it's not that bad, that he's getting help. He's been in anger management for 6 months, I added. Mom said things were better. Until today, Maya pointed out. The back door opened and Mom entered, her cheeks still red. Her eyes found mine, a complex mixture of emotions swimming in them. Juliet, can we talk? She asked quietly. I'll give you some privacy, Officer Jenkins said, standing. No, please stay, I insisted. Mom, I know what you're going to say, and I'm not backing down this time. Mom sank into a chair. He says he's sorry. He's been under so much stress with the bills and— Stop defending him! The words exploded from me. He hit you at my graduation party. It was just one time. Was it? Aunt Sarah challenged. Tell her the truth, Diane. Mom's facade cracked. I didn't want to worry you with college coming up. How long? I demanded. It started maybe a year ago, just grabbing at first, then pushing. My throat tightened. And you never told me. You had scholarships to worry about and finals and you're my mother! Tears stung my eyes. I would have helped you. By doing what? Running away together? Where would we go? What about your future? Maya leaned forward. Mrs. Henderson, my mom left my dad when I was 12 for the same reason. It was hard, but we made it, and we're happier now. Your mother's a lawyer, Mom countered. I work part-time at a florist. You have options, Officer Jenkins said gently. There's a domestic violence center downtown with emergency housing, legal advice. And what about Roger's rights? Mom asked. He owns this house. He'll fight this. Let him, I said firmly. I've been recording his outbursts for months. Everyone stared at me. You what? Mom whispered. After that night he threw your phone against the wall, I started recording whenever he got angry. I've got at least 6 incidents where he threatens you. Why didn't you tell me? Mom asked. Why didn't you tell me he was hitting you? I countered. Aunt Sarah reached for Mom's hand. Diane, it's time. For Juliet, if not for yourself. Mom looked from me to Aunt Sarah, then to Officer Jenkins. What do I need to do? First, Officer Jenkins said, we file a report. Then we talk about an emergency protective order. And then, I added, meeting Mom's eyes, we make sure he never hurts you again. 3 weeks after graduation, we sat in the courthouse waiting room. Mom fidgeted beside me, twisting her wedding ring, a nervous habit she hadn't broken even after filing for divorce. He's going to be here, isn't he? She whispered. Yes, but he can't come near you, I reminded her. The temporary order makes sure of that. What if the judge doesn't grant the permanent one? What if— Mrs. Henderson? Our lawyer, Miss Reynolds, approached. They're ready for us. Inside the courtroom, I spotted Roger immediately, clean-shaven, wearing a suit I'd never seen before. Our eyes met briefly before I looked away. All rise, the bailiff announced as Judge Martinez entered. The hearing proceeded with formal statements. When it was Mom's turn to speak, her voice wavered but held. Mrs. Henderson, Judge Martinez said, can you describe the incident that led to this hearing? My husband slapped me during our daughter's graduation party, Mom stated. In front of 20 guests, including my sister and Juliet's friends. And was this an isolated incident? Mom hesitated. I squeezed her hand. No, Your Honor. There were other incidents. Roger's attorney stood. Your Honor, my client admits to the regrettable incident at the party, but maintains it was an isolated occurrence brought on by extreme stress. He's completed anger management and— Actually, Miss Reynolds interrupted, we have evidence suggesting a pattern of abuse. My recordings were entered into evidence. Roger's face darkened as his own voice filled the courtroom. You think anyone would want you if you left? You're nothing without me, Diane. Nothing. When it was my turn to testify, Roger stared at me with pleading eyes. Juliet, he began as I passed his table. Mr. Henderson, Judge Martinez warned. You are not to address the witness directly. After I was sworn in, Miss Reynolds asked, "Can you tell us what you witnessed on the day of your graduation party?" I heard shouting from the kitchen. When I got there, Roger, my stepdad, was accusing Mom of flirting with my teacher. Then he slapped her hard enough that everyone heard it. And the recordings you provided? I started making them in February, after Roger threw Mom's phone against the wall during an argument. Objection, Roger's attorney called. These recordings were made without my client's knowledge or consent. Single-party consent is legal in this state, Miss Reynolds countered. Overruled, Judge Martinez said. Continue, Miss Henderson. The recordings show a pattern. He'd apologize, promise to change, then do it again. You little sneak, Roger muttered, just loud enough for me to hear. His attorney placed a warning hand on his arm, but Roger shrugged it off and stood. This is ridiculous, he shouted. I paid for everything. Her car, this ungrateful brat's education, and this is the thanks I get? Mr. Henderson. Judge Martinez banged her gavel. Control yourself or I'll hold you in contempt. Tell them, Diane, Roger continued, ignoring his attorney's attempts to seat him. Tell them how I took you in when nobody wanted you. Two bailiffs approached Roger, who pointed at me. You turned her against me. You planned this, didn't you? Recording me, setting me up? The only person who set you up was you, I replied evenly. Every time you chose to threaten or hit my mother. Order, Judge Martinez commanded as the bailiffs restrained Roger. This isn't over, Roger shouted as they escorted him out. You'll regret this, both of you. After a brief recess, Judge Martinez returned with her decision. Based on the evidence presented, including the respondent's behavior in this courtroom, I am granting the permanent protective order. Mom's shoulders slumped with relief. Additionally, Judge Martinez continued, I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office for possible criminal charges of domestic battery. As we left the courtroom, Roger waited with his attorney in the hallway. The bailiff stood between us as Roger spoke. Diane, please. His voice softened. I'm sorry. I'll get more help. We can fix this. Mom stopped walking. For a terrible moment, I feared she might waver. There's nothing to fix, Roger, she said finally. It's already broken beyond repair. 6 months after graduation, Mom and I sat in another courtroom. The criminal trial had concluded faster than expected after Roger pled guilty to reduced charges of misdemeanor domestic battery. Judge Wilson reviewed the plea agreement. Mr. Henderson, you understand the terms of your sentence? 12 months probation, completion of a 52-week batterer's intervention program, and continued adherence to the protective order? Yes, Your Honor, Roger replied, subdued. Any violations will result in immediate jail time. Do you understand? I understand. After the proceedings, we waited for Miss Reynolds in the courthouse lobby. Unexpectedly, Roger approached with his attorney, stopping at the distance required by the protective order. Diane, Juliet, he began. I just want to say, save it, I interrupted. We have nothing to say to you. Please, just listen, he persisted. I've been in therapy, real therapy, not just the court-mandated stuff. I understand now what I did, how I hurt you both. Mom stood straighter. I'm glad you're getting help, Roger. Truly, but it doesn't change what happened. I know, but maybe someday we could... No, Mom said firmly. There is no someday for us. The divorce will be final next month. I've lost everything because of one mistake, Roger said, his voice cracking. One mistake? I laughed bitterly. The recordings covered 4 months of mistakes, and those were just the ones I happened to catch. I'm a changed man, he insisted. Then be changed for someone else, Mom replied. We're moving forward without you. Miss Reynolds arrived, assessing the situation quickly. Mr. Henderson, you should leave now before you risk violating the protective order. Roger's attorney tugged his arm. She's right. Let's go. As they walked away, Roger looked back once. The man who had terrorized our home for years suddenly seemed small. Outside, Maya waited by her car. How'd it go? It's done, I said. He pled guilty. And we just had our final conversation with him, Mom added, a new confidence in her voice. How does it feel? Maya asked. Mom considered this. Like taking off shoes that were always too tight. I didn't realize how much pain I was in until it stopped. Aunt Sarah pulled up in her minivan. Ladies, the moving truck is all loaded. Ready for the big reveal? The surprise I'd been planning for weeks was finally happening. We drove to the small duplex I'd found near my community college, the same one Roger had once mocked. I'd deferred Stanford to stay close to home this year, a decision that felt right. What are we doing here? Mom asked as we parked. Welcome home, I said, handing her a key. It's not fancy, but it's ours. Well, technically it's Aunt Sarah's rental property, but she's giving us a friends and family discount. Mom's eyes widened. Juliet, we can't afford... Yes, we can, I assured her. I got that job at the bookstore. You've got the new position at the floral shop, and we've applied for victims' compensation to help with the moving expenses. We all pitched in too, Maya added. My mom helped with the deposit. And I've been collecting furniture donations from church friends for weeks, Aunt Sarah said. Mom stood speechless before the modest duplex, tears streaming down her face. You did all this for me, she finally managed. You've spent 18 years taking care of me, I said, hugging her. It's my turn to help take care of you. Later that evening, after the moving truck was unloaded and friends had gone home, Mom and I sat on our second-hand couch, eating pizza straight from the box. I should have left years ago, Mom said softly. I was so afraid of being alone, of failing you. You never failed me, I countered. And you're not alone. You have me, Aunt Sarah, Maya, and her mom. I know that now, she smiled. So, what's next for us? I considered the question. Healing. Learning who we are without walking on eggshells. And maybe eventually, figuring out what happiness looks like for us. I like that, Mom said. Me too. I raised my soda can in a toast. To new beginnings. To new beginnings, she echoed. And to my daughter, the hero I never knew I needed. Outside our window, the sunset painted the sky in brilliant colors, a fitting end to a day of new possibilities. What would you do if someone you loved was being hurt? Would you have the courage to make that call? Sometimes the truest act of love is standing up for someone who's forgotten how to stand up for themselves. Like this story if you agree and share your thoughts in the comments below.